Hi, my name is Annie. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. I post all kinds of content here relating to treating my PCOS and losing weight, vlogs and daily life, and most importantly, books and my addiction to them. As promised in my last video, today I am bringing you my July TBR. Now, is it halfway through July? Yeah, absolutely, it sure is. But I don't do everything on time all the time, so here's what we're gonna do. First, we're gonna go over quickly, but not completely, reviewing the books that I had on my TBR that I have already read. And then we're gonna go through the books that are on my TBR for the remainder of July. Now, I am a mood reader and I also have ADHD, so it will be interesting to see what I actually do read in my July Reads video that's going to be coming up in a couple of weeks. But without further ado, if you made it this far and you don't mind, I would love it if you would click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can get notified every single time that I post. And while I have you here, leave me a comment and let me know what you're reading, and let's get into the July TBR. First, let me start out by saying I'm a Kindle girl. I get all of my books off of Libby or Kindle Unlimited. I don't have the storage for a beautiful bookcase, and I don't have the finances to buy all of the books, and that is okay for me right now. And maybe one day I'll have the library of my dreams. But if you're somebody like me who just doesn't have the budget to buy all of the books that they want to read, just know that you can download the Libby app. This is not sponsored. This is how I use my app, and it actually helps to support your local library. So you just sign up for your library, and through the library, you can rent the books for 14 days. You can also get audiobooks on there, and that is a great way for you to get all the titles you could ever imagine in your hands and not pay a penny. So in June, I re-sparked my love of fantasy by reading the book Fourth Wing. I did a review on it in my June Reads. If you're interested in that, you can click the title card here and go and see that video. But because I sparked my love of fantasy, I knew I wanted a little fantasy, and to balance it out, I wanted a little mystery and then a little bit more of real life reading. The first book that I had on my TBR, I've heard so many amazing things about this author, and I just wanted to give them a try. And the book was The Only One Left by Riley Sager. It was the first book on my TBR. It was the first book I picked up, and I finished it pretty quickly. I'll save my review for my July Reads video. I knew I wanted to read something with a little bit of mystery, a little bit of thriller, a little bit of horror, and this was the perfect choice for me. This follows our main character, Kit, who is a home health aide. Kit gets assigned to take care of Lenora, and Lenora is infamous in her town. Long story short, when Lenora was little, she was found with all of the bodies of her family members, and she was covered in blood. Now, there was never enough evidence to truly convict her of the crime, but she was known as the Murder. Why am I spelling so much? She was known in the town as the person who was the one who committed the crime. And years later, she's now requiring home health, and Kit is the one who gets assigned to her case. So Kit is the one to go take care of Lenora at the house on the cliff, and when she arrives, Lenora shows her a typewriter, and that is the only way that Lenora can communicate, and she types out, "I want to tell you everything." The next book on my TBR that I have already read is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. I had heard so many incredible things about this book. I had actually tried it a while back, and I DNF'd it. And I'd only read like the first 2 chapters. At the time, I was just in a big reading slump, and I couldn't get out of it to save my life. And I am so glad that I ended up reading this book. This book is about a group of 4 friends that call themselves the Liars. They, of course, one of my favorite tropes, go away for the summer to an island. And this book tells us all about the tale of their experience on that island. There are secrets, there are lies, there are some harsh truths. There is love. There's also some surprises along the way. This was an emotional book for me. I laughed, I cried, and I loved it. Because We Were Liars had a heavier undertone, I decided to go back into the fantasy world for just a bit. And I chose to read Wolf Gone Wild by Juliet Cross. Now, when I started this book, I didn't realize that it was the first in a series, and that keeps happening to me lately. And right now, I'm kind of anti-series. At least I'm not reading my series in sequential order. Also, I don't know if you can hear Ricky, but he is snoring so loud right now. This book follows Evie Savoy and Mateo Cruz. Mateo is a werewolf that has been cursed and cannot shift into his true form once a month as he needs to, and so he is literally losing his mind. So he decides he's going to go get help from Evie Savoy, who is a local witch, and she agrees to help him. And this book follows their experience together, trying to break the curse that lies within Mateo. Thought it was cute, and I'll give you a little more details about it in my July reads video. The next book on my TBR I had been waiting for a while, and this was the book My Husband by Maud Ventura. I had heard so many incredible things about this book. It's a different book than I would have normally chosen. It is a translated work. This book follows a sophisticated French woman who is utterly obsessed with her husband. They have been together for over 15 years. They have a beautiful family. They both have great careers, and she is like literally obsessed with him. I thought this was a great book. I would highly recommend adding it. It is different than I thought it would be. It was funny. It was dark. The main character is a little bit petty. And if you're somebody who doesn't enjoy knowing every single thought that someone has in their brain, this may not be the book for you. But if you're somebody who likes the roller coaster of someone else's mental illness, then perhaps this would be the book for you. The next book on my TBR was The Measure by Nikki Erlich. This is a debut novel for Nikki Erlich, and I cannot wait to read anything that she writes moving forward. This book was so incredible. It follows multiple different people. Essentially, one morning, everyone wakes up with a wooden box on their doorstep, and inside the box lies a string, and the string is representative of the lifespan of that person. Some people get very short strings, some people get very long strings, and this book follows 8 different characters, 8 different storylines, kind of giving you a perspective into what it would be to be a short stringer or a long stringer. It's an ode to the beauty in life, and it talks about the meaning of life, but it really shows you how each of these characters and really the world would handle a scenario like this. I freaking love this book. I would scream it from the rooftops. I would read it again and again and again. It was so good, and I was so glad that I added it to my TBR. All the books I've read so far in July. Now, as far as what's on my TBR that I haven't read, let's talk about those. The first book on my TBR is House of Hunger by Alexis Henderson. This book follows Marion Shaw, who has been raised in the slums her whole life. She's always wanted to escape. She's never had a way out, but then she comes across an ad for a blood maid. According to this ad, this blood maid job would be in the far north, a place that Marion has never been and doesn't really know much about, but she decides she's gonna apply anyway because she is desperate to get out of her town, and she gets accepted to the House of Hunger as the newest blood maid. One of the highest ranking court members, Countess Elisabeth, takes a very special interest in Marion, and this book promises a nice cat and mouse game and a whole lot of secrets, and I am very excited to read it. The next book on my TBR is The Other Half by Charlotte Vassell. This is a debut mystery novel, and I'm very excited to read it because I've heard great things about it. This book follows a group of London socialites who are celebrating Rupert's 30th birthday party. There is champagne, there is but most importantly, there's a great time until the following morning when on a jog, a detective seems to find a DEAD body of Rupert's girlfriend, Clemmy, and suddenly everyone's asking, who at the party? Clemmy. This book promises to be a good old-fashioned whodunit, and I'm very excited to read it. The next book on my TBR is Every Heart a Doorway, Shannon McGuire. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Is it Shannon? Shannon? Somebody let me know in the comments. I apologize. I'm terrible with pronunciation. This book has come highly rated. It has won so many awards. I cannot wait to read it. This is the first book in the Wayward Children series. This will be the first time I ever read a Portal fantasy book, and so I'm kind of going in blind on this. Following the story of the children at Eleanor West's home for wayward children. Apparently in this home, there's a portal to another land that the children can escape to, and I'm very excited to see what exactly that means and what the fuss is about a Portal fantasy, and I will be back to keep you posted on that. The next book I want to read in July is The Secret Lives of Church Ladies. This is by Disha Filia. This is a short story collection with 9 stories in total, following Black women and girls who are looking to balance who they truly are versus the church's double standards. I've heard really wonderful things about this book. I'm very excited to read it, and hopefully it will become available soon. Okay, up next we have The Summer I Turned Pretty. This is by Jenny Han. This is a well-known video. It's actually a series on Prime Video, so I want to read the book first before I watch the series. It follows Belly, who absolutely adores the summertime and lives her best life, and something happens one summer, and I'm just really interested to know what that is because that's literally all the information I know about this book. And finally, the last book on my July TBR is Butcher and Blackbird by Bren Weaver. This is viral on TikTok. Everybody's talking about it. This is a friends to lovers dark romantic comedy. There is There is chaos, there is chemistry. This follows Sloane and Rowan, who bond over both by unaliving serial unalivers. There's several tropes in this book. There is golden retriever, black cat, he falls first, friends to lovers, forced proximity, etc., etc. And I cannot wait for this to become available, and hopefully I will get to read it in July. Very last book on my TBR is on Kindle Unlimited right now, and it is called When Ashes Fall by Marnie Mann. This book is supposed to emotionally wreck you. It is about a main character who falls in love with two people, and they are forced to choose between the two. It was chosen as one of the best romance novels of 2019, so I am very excited to read it. That concludes my TBR for July. Now, do you have any suggestions for me? What do you think I should be reading? What are you reading right now? What's your favorite book you've ever read in your whole entire life? I need to know all the things in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you go, and I will see you soon. Love you. Say it back.